Hey, how you doing? It's Adisa the Bishop. You know what I'm saying? Chilling really hard. I am in Scarborough in the UK, which is a beach town, probably about 4 hours north of London. Staying in a very chill Airbnb, enjoying my time with my extended family here, and it's been beautiful. I apologize for not posting sooner. Essentially, right when I got ready to post this thing about joy cultivation, which this show is about, um, I got sick and then I needed to take a trip over here to the UK so that I could do a fundraiser for my knees. As some of you may or may not know, I have a degenerative condition in my knees. And several years ago, a guy fell on my leg, excuse me, when I was a purple belt, and I was wrecked. And Kaiser usually does right by your boy, but they didn't do right by me on that situation. And it took me about 18 months, maybe 2 years, right after I got my purple, man. It was heartbreaking to have to deal with my knees. Now, on top of that, trying to manage that, um, I have a degenerative condition. After some MRIs, it's been discovered that I have a degenerative condition in my knees, and they're kind of evaporating in slow motion. So I'm doing a stem cell tour. That's what I'm doing. I'm touring the planet, touring America. So if you need a seminar, it can be half guard, closed guard, advanced iron hook scroll stuff. And I just broke out the cloud scroll. The cloud scroll is how to it's a series of closed guard moves, pins, and sweeps that take you into new positions and new submissions when people don't want the iron hook scroll put on them, which makes sense because it's not fun. And so I've been on a tour to raise this money up so that I can go to the Cellular Performance Institute in Baja, California, ran by Scott Nelson and Ed Clay, right? Though, not those are my homies. I've never met Ed, but Scott has been one of my friends from way back at Half Gracie, you know what I'm saying? From onthemat.com in those times. They have done Joe Rogan's shoulders. They did Eddie Bravo's knees. They've done Lovato, like so many main level, top tier dudes in jiu-jitsu. I'm going to get this stem cell, right? So, but I don't have savings because I'm just been like a school teacher and a jiu-jitsu guy most of my life and a chess teacher. That's it. And I don't have a lot of savings to speak of. So I got to raise money to get these knees done. The beginning of the stem cell tour started at Gracie Baja and Apperley Bridge out here. When I first came to the UK, the first school to really have love for me on a big level and become my network in Leeds was GB, right? Gracie Baja. Um, the guys at GB really had love for me. I have some friends at GB, Professor Lewis and Professor Khalil. They just opened up GB Apperley Bridge. It was their 1 year anniversary. They were like, come out and do a seminar. You know what I'm saying? I was like, perfect. Then I went to IMA Leeds, Immortal Martial Arts, one of the coldest MMA and Nogi schools out there. Shout out to Professor Liam and Steve. They had me come out. I did an iron hook scroll and cloud scroll seminar. I've never taught the cloud scroll stuff before, ever, ever. I've taught it in fragments. I never taught it in one whole seminar. Showed that. Everybody loved it, right? Like I said, some new sweeps, some new submissions, right? Some new positions that you haven't seen. And this stuff came to me while I was injured. And that's part of the reason why I never really shared it. It wasn't that I didn't do it, I just didn't tell people what I was doing. Um, and just like the cloud scroll, these moves were a product of my meditation when I was doing transcendental meditation. I'm not telling any of you that you should or should not do TM. I think that all meditation is relative. And what I mean is like cardio is good for you, but it's a different kind of thing that's good for you than hold on, I gotta move this. It's good for you, but it's different than weightlifting, and weightlifting is different than yoga, right? Meditation is to me the same way. Some meditation will make you stronger in some way. Some meditation will help you, you know what I'm saying, have circulation and better, spiritual circulations, mental circulations better, right? But TM really worked for me. I had very profound experiences doing transcendental meditation. And transcendental meditation is the origin story of the Iron Hook Scroll, and it is the origin story of the Cloud Scroll, mixed with consistent training in Jiu-Jitsu at Heroes Martial Arts under the instruction of Alan Gumby Marcus. In any case, after IMA, I went to EKBJJ in Barnsley, and I met my good friend, not only Grant Hensby, Professor Grant, who runs EKBJJ, tough school, great people. Um, I was able to meet William Mulligan. He came to my seminar. If you know the Resilient Men's Group, then you know that I love this book, and you know that this book is the official book of the Resilient Men's Group. I hope you join us online. Um, had a great time at each seminar. Got the initial group of money started, right? I got a long way to go, but it's happening and it's been beautiful. So now I'm up in Scarborough um, with my lady and her extended family, and we're chilling for a couple days before I head back. And I'm here to talk to you about cultivating your joy. This is what I was talking about before I left. And I got sick right before I left. I really meant to do this like a week or two ago, but then I got sick before I got on the plane, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. And I had to chill. Like, I didn't have a choice. I had to be still. I had to be in bed. I had to relax. It wasn't life or death, but it wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of things, they're not life or death until you don't take care of them and they become life or death. And I didn't want that situation. I wasn't looking for that kind of smoke. So let's jump into 7 ways to cultivate your joy. Joy is in low supply in America and around the world for many different reasons. Some of them are political, some of them are social, some of them are the obvious genocide that's happened to the Palestinians. Um, some are between different countries and drama that's playing out or starting to play out. Um, Economy's a little weird. Looks like it's going to get weirder. Job stability, you know what I'm saying? Families are arguing, you know. Unfortunately, I see a lot of people starting to break up because people are stressed out and they're not really feeling like they're communicating well. And it's bad. It's bad. So, how do we cultivate this joy? We know we need it. The first thing is being consistent in whatever you say you want to do to get your joy back. And it doesn't matter what brings you joy, right? Unless what brings you joy is really harming others, unless what brings you joy is abusing others mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, right? Um, or harming, you know, others in some way, right? Whatever brings you joy is pretty legit, I'm sure. It's pretty legit, I'm sure, right? And a lot of times we let negative self talk or we let opinions of other people keep us from doing what we love to do for ourselves. And this is bad. This is real bad. I don't think it's a good way to live. I don't think it's a good way to be. I don't think it's a good way to stay. Um, and so I also believe that because people say, oh, you know, Deesh, you look young, you always acting playful, you doing this and that, whatever. Where do you get that from? I get that from having been a teacher, right? I've been a school teacher, I've been a chess teacher, I've been a jujitsu teacher for people of all ages all the time. Back when I was doing regular school stuff in a public school, in a charter school, they would say, well, what age do you teach? And I would say, what age are they? I'll teach any age. And I know most people they I teach elementary kids, or I teach junior high, or I teach high school. I teach anybody. If that person wants to learn, I will teach them, right? Especially from jujitsu, I have students as young as 4, and I've had students as old as like 61, 62. For real. One of my first students was like a 55-year-old woman who was dope, right? But I believe that being around young people keeps you young, right? If you look in the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, you look in almost any spiritual book, they tell you that having a childlike mind and a childlike heart is crucial. It's good for you, right? It's really good for you. And so being childlike is a big part of how I cultivate my joy, right? So I want you to take 15 minutes. The first thing I want you to do is create a joy inventory. I want you to think about What did you do as a kid for joy? Did you draw? Get back to drawing. You know what I used to do? Cursive. Writing cursive was fun to me, and doing calligraphy, like old English calligraphy and stuff like that. I had all these pen sets or whatever, right? Um, did you used to like make a fort out of all the chairs and throw a big blanket over it? Make a fort. I'm being totally serious. I'm being totally serious. And have a bowl of cereal, you know what I'm saying, while you watch some cartoons or something. Pull up some old Bugs Bunny and let it ride. You feel me? Like, you know, doing things that you like to do as a child is important to cultivate that childlike mind. Everything you do to bring you joy shouldn't have to bring you money or whatever, man. If you can't take 15 minutes to just draw, to jump back into a coloring book, to read a comic, right? Now, if it's something physical, like like if you want to get on a skateboard, you can and should, but have all the safety equipment, right? Because you hitting the sidewalk at 45 is going to be a different feel than it did at 14. But I still think you should do it. You should still do it, right? And give yourself to those moments. Cultivate that joy within yourself and know that you're absolutely worth it, right? The other is, and you know me, I'm always going to say you should be meditating, right? I'm a big fan of meditation. Um, when I talked to you about the Iron Hook scroll and the Cloud scroll stuff, I told you all of that stuff came from meditation. I'm not trying to be a mystic or pretend nothing. All the Iron Hook scroll stuff came from studying jujitsu very diligently at Heroes Martial Arts and meditating in the TM fashion for several years. That's what got me that way. And the Cloud Scroll, Iron Hook Scroll, Cloud Scroll, all that stuff came from meditation. And the reason why you don't see me adding a lot to the Iron Hook Scroll, although others have and should continue to, and even with the Cloud Scroll, the limit of the techniques is only because it all came to me through the meditation. And unless I talk with somebody else and they go, oh, couldn't you do that from there? Oh, what if I do that? Only recently have I been able to expand it just a little bit, right? But doing transcendental meditation is how I got both of those themes of attack to come together. And I didn't meditate on jujitsu. This is important. When you meditate, it should be the process of letting go of all kinds of attachments. And I'm not even saying that you need to meditate in the TM methodology exclusively. I meditate all kinds of ways. And I know that this will probably make some people from the TM community frustrated or feel like I'm talking bad about it. I'm not. What I'm saying is, just like there's different kinds of working out for your body, there's cardio, strength training, right? There's yoga, Pilates, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Different kinds of meditation, I believe, impact you in different ways. And you should experience as many as possible. Just like if you just strength train or you just do cardio, there will be some lack. I think if you just do TM, but you don't do different kinds of guided meditation or whatever, that there can be some kind of lack. That's it. But in any case, right, you should find a mindful meditation practice. I believe you should start with about 2 to 3 minutes in the beginning, just 2 to 3 minutes twice a day. Try to get up to like 20 minutes ideally a day, right? You can do one 20-minute session. You can do two 10-minute sessions, but start really small. And then I believe in yoga, right? I'm gonna tell you like right now. I went out the other day and sat in the sun, and I was doing yoga with my shirt off in the backyard. And at first I was like, man, I bet I look weird out here in the backyard doing yoga by myself, just listening to hippie music, burning some neem forest incense. Oh man, I just sat in the sun. It felt amazing, letting the sun warm my back up and my arms, my chest, my face. Oh my God, it felt amazing. And I like to lose time. If you wonder about where your joy is, think about when you do it, do you forget how long you've been doing it? When you're doing it, do you lose time? Because time's an illusion anyway. You know time's not real, right? Time is just a human construct to try to grasp our brief moment on this planet. Time is not real. Time is not real. But it has to be real for us because we're aware that we're not here forever. But when you lose time, that's what you should be doing. That's why I fell in love with jujitsu. I remember the day I realized that I lost time doing jujitsu. I was a blue belt at Charles Gracie's, and I was going against this guy named Evan. And on Friday nights, people used to didn't come because they were trying to wear their Gracie T-shirts at the club to try to get chicks. Yeah, I'm a grappler. Oh, yeah, I can fight. Yeah, we should go on a date. Um, but the real dudes would go Friday nights and train because they were actually trying to get better at jujitsu. And so me and this guy named Evan, who was a purple belt, there wouldn't be that many people there. And sometimes it would just be me and Evan, and we would go hard. Anyway, me and Evan were going really hard one night, and I lost time on the mats. And I realized that because this dude's trying to strangle me and break my arm, because I'm trying to strangle him and break his arm, you don't have time to think about your marriage. You don't have time to think about your kids, your bills, your job, what's due, what are you doing tomorrow. That was what taught me about presence first, even before meditation and even before yoga. Presence in jujitsu really impacted me in a beautiful way. And so I realized if I could take that presence from just a few seconds on the mat of pure presence, and I could bring that into my job, I could bring that into my relationship with other humans. How beautiful could that be? Right? And then the more that I started getting into yoga, the more that I started doing meditation, this thing of presence became a huge deal. The other day I went on a walk. Oh my God. I had one of the most, I'm doing a phone fast where I'm not touching the phone for like 7 days. Unbelievable walk in nature. One of my most grounded and present, consistent experiences, like one of my most wholly present hours of my life. It was fantastic, right? But all of this stuff on presence really got, even though it came initially through jujitsu, it was cultivated more through yoga and meditation. Okay. Go on YouTube. There's this girl named Adrienne. She's really popular. Like if you don't want to go to a yoga school, I suggest you go to a yoga school. Okay. I think that it's important to go to a school because yeah, you can learn stuff online and all that. But yoga, like chess, right? Like jujitsu, you can start learning this stuff online. Go to a school, learn from a human. It's only been recently that people have been learning chess online. Learn from a friend. They don't have to be a grandmaster. They don't have to be, you know, learn from a friend. As long as they know actually the fundamental rules of how to play and da 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 da, you should enjoy that, man. You should enjoy that, right? And again, going back to having a child like mine, right? Do some micro nostalgia, right? Choose one childhood activity from your inventory that we looked at in the beginning and just spend 20 minutes doing it without self judgment. Oh man, I'm too old to be getting a coloring book. Nah. Science shows that nostalgia can increase the feelings of social connectedness and meaning. You probably got a homie. Oh man, remember we used to go get comic books? Let's go. Let's go get some comic books again. Let's go get some comic books again and go get them. Who cares? Right? Create a wonder walk. Take 10 minutes, right? And take time to notice something new or beautiful. Research shows that these kinds of experiences reduce stress hormones and increase positive emotions. Don't you need some more positive emotions in your life? Don't we all? Of course we do, right? Um, and then six is begin a 5 minute daily gratitude practice. Man, let me tell you, gratitude is at an all time low around the world. People complain all day. People are being sarcastic within their own brains and to each other all day. And like, everything ain't Seinfeld. Everything ain't Bugs Bunny, although I love me some Bugs Bunny. Everything isn't a joke. And so people are either devaluing each other or themselves and situations to try to avoid uh, how they feel about things, but ultimately, man, like if you're here, no matter how bad it is, you're blessed in a lot of ways. You really are. It doesn't always feel that way because life isn't always fun, right? But we have to have more gratitude for this very moment. Sounds corny, but it's true, right? So write down 3 specific things that brought you joy today. I'm sure there are things you haven't been considering that would enrich your day if you were more present to your joy, right? Um, and then finally, share your joy story. Tell someone about a childhood memory that made you happy. Social sharing of positive emotions have been found to amplify the beneficial benefits uh, of happiness in us with others, right? And so we need to work on our joy cultivation. You deserve joy cultivation. I want to see you happier. And I know you want to see yourself happier. And I know your real friends, your true friends, your real family members, your true family members, they like to see you happy too. I want you to think about when you're happy, what music are you listening to? I had to cut a lot of music once I realized, yo, man, like that stuff don't make me happy. That's when I started listening to a lot more jazz and I started listening to a lot more lo-fi and chill hop because I didn't want other people's words in my mind. Sometimes I like the music, but I don't like the lyrics, so I'll play instrumentals of those songs and I can interpret those strings and those drums for myself. I don't have to accept the lyrics that they put over that, right? Um, who is around you when you're happy? That inventory, the human inventory of joy is a big deal. Who is around you when you feel great? And also, not trying to be negative, but who is not around? Some people just complain all day. Some people are joking too much. Some people are only talking about one subject over and over and over again. And that starts to bring down your mood, right? This isn't about saying, oh, I don't want to be around Jerry anymore. He's too this. Or I don't want to be around Sally anymore because she's too that. That's not what it is. But start paying attention to when you're happy, what family members and friends are around. You might find it's nobody. Hardcore introvert, INFJ, that's me. We're all different. What are you wearing when you're happy? I started changing my dress code little by little, not in like crazy ways. And if you do it in a crazy way, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, uh, every year when I get ready to go into the new year now, I say, well, how does the 2025 me start dressing in 2024, right before we get to the new year? Is it the same shoes? Is it the same pants? Is it the same shirt? Is it the same colors? Maybe you're just dressing in these colors, shoes, and shirt out of a habit. Maybe you would be happier in a different kind of jacket. Maybe you would be happier with a different haircut. Maybe you would be happier, right? Do that. These things matter. These things matter, right? So I want you to jump into your cultivating joy journey. You tell me how it's going. I'm gonna post this. I'm still doing my phone fast. So even though I'm gonna upload this, like I'm not even gonna post it on Instagram. So please share this with a few people and tell me how your joy journey is going. Like and subscribe. Share with a few people. I'll be doing some more stuff in the UK. I'll share it only on Substack, and until I get on my phone, I won't be posting about anything. Okay, except for Substack. Have a very blessed one. I apologize for the lighting. I'm just moving around and traveling. All right. Shout out to Grappling Apparel. Go get some. You know what I'm saying? It's lit outside. And embrace your joy. Truly. Peace.